Hi, I'm John Bressler, Vice President of Government Relations with the American Association of Port Authorities, and I'm here with Kerry Davis, President and CEO of American Association of Port Authorities. We're here in the Cannon Building on the third floor of the United States Congress. Kerry, I'd like to ask you a couple questions today, notably the USTR tariffs. Could you give us a quick update on where things stand?
John, thanks. After a lot of planning by President Trump since well before his inauguration, we're finally at the stage where he's implementing significant, unprecedented tariffs on imports from the U.S.'s closest trading partners, Canada and Mexico, who have in fact surpassed China in the last year as the largest trading partners from the U.S. So this is going to have extraordinary impacts on bilateral and trilateral trade among the three nations. And ultimately, a lot of these increased costs are going to be passed on to consumers, creating inflationary pressures. And despite a lot of opposition from the business community, from the shipping community, the president is rolling forward with this proposal.
Thanks, Kerry. Can you talk to us a little bit about what AAPA is doing to push back on some of these tariffs?
Yeah, John, thanks. I actually am a trade lawyer myself, and I can say, having worked as a trade law advisor to President Trump during his first administration, I'm not sure I or anyone knows exactly what he's driving at or what the end game is here. Of course, a lot of people assume that the president is trying to create a negotiating position to stop the flow of illicit drugs across the borders, to create conditions for more foreign investment in the United States, to try to halt transshipment of Chinese goods through our neighboring countries. So there might be a lot of ulterior motives. Someone very wise told me trade policy used to just be trade policy. But now trade policy is tax policy, and trade policy is foreign policy, and trade policy is almost criminal law policy. So there are all these other things that the president's trying to get at with these policies. And at the end of the day, we as an industry always advocate that tariffs are taxes and are fundamentally distortive of the market and are bad for business and should be rethought as a policy proposal.
So that leads us to the next question. How do you see this impacting shipping and freight rates?
Well, I think we're all trying to figure out that question, John. It's sure going to cause a lot of disruption in the market. And we, of course, know that making trade through U.S. ports could lead to cargo diversion. So I think we're crunching some numbers on that for sure. We're also working with the shipper community here in the United States, the international shipper community, to look at what the cost increases might be on the system. And then there's a topic that we haven't even talked about yet, which is the proposed tax on Chinese-built ship vessel calls to U.S. ports. And of course, that could have similar sorts of cargo diversion and inflationary impacts on U.S. ports. So we're absolutely in touch with our Canadian counterparts. Just last night, you and I were here in the Capitol with CPKC and CN talking about what it might do to their network. And these disruptive policies are causing a lot of uncertainty. So fundamentally, we want to bring down the temperature on a lot of this. But of course, we're glad to be able to give you some intel that we're hearing on the ground about how the U.S. president might be thinking about these things.
Very helpful, Kerry. Thanks so much. And of course, this is a very fluid situation. There's a lot of moving parts at the highest levels of the administration and Congress. We'll be sure to keep everyone updated as the process continues. Thank you so much.